Hi everybody, Mike with Enviroscape LA, and this is an amazing day because we're at the last day at this project here in Torrance, California, and we're doing it. We're doing it sustainably. We're doing it. We're adding some elements of permaculture. It's a fabulous thing. I'm hoping this will hold it down to about 5 or 10 minutes. But if you're going to re-landscape your house, we're going to show you how it's done right. A couple things. There's just dirt here right now, and between plants. It's not going to remain this way. Actually, let's take a quick peek down here where a lot of the finished product is going to be. So where I was just standing is going to look like this once it's done. And you can see where it's getting several inches of layers of this walk-on bark. And the reason for that being is that the bark actually has something called mycelium. It's a mycorrhizal fungus that actually attaches to the root of the plants. It goes really deep down and it'll give nutrients to the plant, and in return the plant gives it's a symbiotic relationship. So it's a fabulous thing to do. You never ever want to see just dirt in your garden. You always want to mulch it in. Number two, these plants, we'll go back over here, these plants are actually pollinating plants. And if they're pollinators in Southern California, they most likely are going to be extremely drought tolerant, and that's what these are. In fact, homeowners can expect to water this once a week, once every 2 weeks. In fact, next winter, probably turn the sprinklers off and maybe run them once or twice a month. That's the amazing thing. Now, we have been using a plant instead of lawns. People like to have lawns. Well, we've been using a plant called Carapia, and you can see an example of it right here. So it's this little stuff. Now, the interesting thing about Carapia is that you don't have to mow it. However, it does spread out over time. So eventually the green's gonna look really fabulous here. We have some ceanothus. This is the Ray Hartman ceanothus. It actually doesn't like water once it gets established. So this is going to be a really dry garden. We have the aloes over here. We have the agaves. We have the allostrata over here. The desmodiana. We have a Pride of Madeira that's a little challenge right here. They hate getting transplanted, or they hate getting planted. A lot of times they have very sensitive roots, but this guy's coming back and put some Super Thrive on it. Interesting thing about the irrigation. So irrigation under a driveway is always going to be PVC, the Schedule 40 PVC, and then we pop it up, and then you notice we have the QF header. It's made by Rainbird. I like the Rainbird because it's actually recycled plastic, and so it's a bigger pipe, and the bigger pipe eventually taps off a smaller pipe. That's the ½ inch right there. This is it looks like copper, but it's really copper colored. The reason it's that color is because inside of it, it has a little strip of copper, real copper, every 12 inches that will prevent root intrusion into the system. It's a great product. I believe it's the only sustainable drip irrigation on the market. Why is there a cap there? Because it needed it. We didn't have to run anymore. This has a little under 800 linear feet of Rainbird Copper Shield drip irrigation tubing. So we used the appropriate. We did use the QF header there. It's just time saving, just for time saving. Over here we have cordylines. We have salvias, and again, I said this is a nature. Pollinator garden. We want to bring in the pollinators. We want to encourage them. So, the birds, the hummingbirds, the bees, the butterflies. This place is going to be a magnet, and because it's on a corner, there's just a huge amount of land to landscape here for the beach area where we live. So, if you're going to do a pollinator garden, over on the other side, it's way over there. We did some what are called butterfly bushes, the buddleias. We did a toyon. You can't bring pollinators in without a toyon. So we have a toyon. We have Jerusalem sage, the phlomis. That's over on the other side. We have cordyline. We have the Echium, fastiosum, Pride of Madeira. We've got the aloes over here. Check out this flower on the aloe. It's just stunning. Absolutely stunning, this flower. And the smaller ones here, they're just going to start popping. Did you know that lavenders, these are Spanish lavender down here, these are actually extremely drought tolerant. And if you want a plant that practically never needs water at all, it's this real pretty flower right here. It's called Status. Check out those flowers, just amazing, and the pollinators love that thing. We got Kufia, we've got Salvia. So the plants that I mentioned, if you're gonna do a pollinator garden, I highly recommend it. Those are the plants that you're gonna wanna use. And for the parkway, we wanted something real simple. There's not gonna be any irrigation, so the homeowners are just gonna water it once in a while. We planted some people call these the foxtail ferns, but they're known as Myers asparagus. These big green things, they almost look like a foxtail. And then what looks like blue ice plant is called senecio. So it's gonna be a ground cover, it's gonna fill in, it's gonna be absolutely beautiful. There was one issue that came up between last week and this week. When we started this job, we pulled everything out of here, rototilled it, and then it rained. And so we were blessed with rain. The rain did teach us one lesson though, that if you have gutters on your house, all the rain is going to fall into the gutter, and it's going to go down one particular chute, and it's going to go to the street. Well, so when we came back Monday, the gutter that you can see off the house there, it pushed all the water from the roof here where there was dirt, and then it just eroded the dirt down because there's a slope here. So what we did was we brought some rocks back, made it look really pretty, and then we're going to do this I'll call it a California-friendly succulent garden. We're going to do that here. So we place the rocks first. We actually have a native plant. I forgot to mention this one. It's called the Calliandra californica, otherwise known as a fairy duster, as it looks like little tiny red brooms for a fairy. So it's really great. It's a California native. It's only going to get maximum about this high after about 10 years. So it's really great stuff. We got some aeoniums here. So just a whole plethora of things that you can do. Now, we'll probably come back in 6 months or a year, and we'll do another video and show you what it looks like in its glory. It looks amazing now, but it's just going to get better over time. There's going to be weeds. There always are. So that's the only thing it's going to need. But the amazing thing is that once the roots get established, it's going to need to be watered once or twice a month. So to make it look outstanding, and to also help keep the weeds down. So this is Mike with Enviroscape LA signing off. When you think sustainability, think Enviroscape LA.